Good morning, my garden friends and my YouTube friends. It's a beautiful Sunday morning, October 3rd. I'm in Windermere, Florida. If you went out to my front yard and flew a mile to the south, you would be on Main Street, USA of the Magic Kingdom at Disney World, if that tells you exactly where I live. But from back here, it's just a world away and very calm, very peaceful this morning. You hear the fountain in the background. It's just a little inexpensive fountain that we bought. And here's the preserve that we live on. My neighbors to the right and to the left have swimming pools, and so we do hear their pumps. But early in the morning like this, it's just very quiet and peaceful. The birds are present, and you'll hear them. Or you'll hear the squirrels barking. Who knew that squirrels bark? Well, now you do. And they communicate with each other, and it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. And there's hawks up in these trees. We have bald eagles who have made nest, and we've watched them kind of scoot their young out and teach them how to fly. It's very, very nice. Good way to start the day. But now that I have my phone working, at least fingers crossed, I'm hoping it's still working. I just wanted to show you an update of what's been going on in the last couple weeks since my phone went down. So the papaya here has about 7 or 8 little fruit on it, and they seem to be staying. You know, I showed you before the first 4 got knocked off, and I think it was a squirrel. My husband said no, that he thinks it was the tree just saying it wasn't old enough, mature enough to carry the weight. And so as you can see, these ones at the bottom I think are pretty decent size. Let me get in there and show you. A little wet, extremely wet. Let me put my hand up next to it. Can I come back there? So you can see it's probably 4 or 5 inches, and I don't want to touch it. I don't want to be guilty of doing it, but I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, several going the whole way up. I think I'm going to need a ladder to pick these. Anyway, let me come out the other. Let me come out the other side. I have been trying to cut the leaves because this was so low. You can see where it starts to leaf out down here. And if you're the person who has to cut the grass, which Rick is, it was really kind of a cumbersome chore for him. But anyway, I'm pleased. This was planted March 7th or March 9th. And my friend gave it to me. It was only barely a foot high, and it had only been a month or so since she had planted seeds. So since February, to say that, what is this, the 10th month? So in 8 months for it to go from seed to being this high and bearing. Papaya are an incredible fruit. I wouldn't mind getting a few dwarf papaya growing in here. But anyway, I wanted to show you my compost pile that I have been churning and turning, and it's really just grass clippings. I wanted to see if I could turn that over with one hand. Grass clippings and cardboard, shredded cardboard. And you can still see some of the shredded cardboard that's in there. And then once I fluff this, and turn the whole thing over and get down in there, because it's actually below this soil level. I dug it out at about 6-8 inches down, and I started adding to it. So it should be kind of more like about 18 inches when it's finally finished. And I've been turning it every few days, and I'm still adding to it. Obviously, my neighbor keeps bringing me grass clippings, and we have our own, and a neighbor across the street, we get theirs, and so it makes a nice addition. But I add it to here, but I also add it as an extra layer all along here, and it just creates this thick humus that really is a great nutrient for the soil. And you know, I'm all about growing, not only raising worms, but growing my soil, so it keeps everybody moist. I mean, it really just adds a nice layer to it. I had all sorts of coleus, and I had periwinkles all along the back here, but they were just getting so kind of ratty looking. You know what I'm talking about. I don't know what the technical term is, other than to say that they were looking a little tattered, and the bees had kind of finished with them, and so I thought it was time to pull them out and try and create something else. The mother-in-law's tongue, I keep thinning it out. Mother-in-law's tongue for us, this is also known as Sansevierius or snake plant. Some people call it, but we call it mother-in-law's tongue here. And it grows where it just continues down under. Let me see if I can pull up a piece and show you. I get one. Can I pull that out or pull this one out? Yeah, there we go. Look at that. This is how easy it is to grow here. Let me just plop it on the side, and look at those roots. I could just stick that in anywhere, and by next year it would be probably look like this again. And so a lot of my mother-in-law's tongue has reforested this back area here. And so anyway, I just wanted to show you a few things back here. It seems like the plumeria have succumbed to this rust fungus that several of us seem to be getting, and it will lose its leaves, and it'll be bare for winter. People who think that we don't have 4 seasons here, there's not 4 true seasons, but there are 4 varying seasons, and one of them is that the plumeria for me lose their leaves in the fall, and then in winter they are completely bare, and then in spring they start with fresh leaves and all healthy again. So since I've been doing this for 42 years here in Florida, I have kind of a certain rhythm and know what to expect. The tea plants look great, I think, on both sides. They've done very well, and even along the back I have some that my neighbor was chopping down and throwing away, and I just took them and stuck them in the ground, and they seem to have taken off for me. I was thinking about what I wanted to plant here, and I think what I'm going to do is probably clean this all out. This is parsnips and or turnips, whichever, the one that looks like a big white carrot. I think that's a parsnip. And I'm going to clean that out, and I'm going to fluff this soil and maybe add some compost to it and some worm castings. And then I'm going to plant Chinese spinach along here. And this is the mango that I have been growing, that I grew from a seed, and still seems to be hanging on. It's only maybe about 10 inches high, and I planted that a few months ago, and you know, who knows, maybe someday I can pick a mango if I'm still here. Along the back I have some giant Japanese red mustard. Those greens they taste like wasabi, and really good, but the older they get, the hotter they get. And so, and the sweet potato vine has just gone mad. I truly need to come out here and harvest some leaves and cook them down like, like you cook spinach, cook it, you saute it. And I have the two teepees, and those are sweet potato slips that I want to try and grow here and over here. And underneath, this is the multicolored Chinese spinach. And when it grew, I had it growing in pots, and it grows to about, I think they were probably 3-4 feet high, and they have like a tassel on the end. It's amaranth, by the way. I'm sorry, it's not just a Chinese spinach, but it's a variety. It's a variety of amaranth. And if you have ever seen the plant, you know that the tips, when they're going to seed, they have like tassels. Well, I really wasn't seeing so much in the way of seeds, so I came out here and I just took those seeds in between my fingers, between my hands, and I just rolled them all over. And apparently those seeds, which are so tiny, are very, very viable. And I did it here, and I didn't do it here because I had some kale growing, which really hasn't done much. But over here, under this plumeria, I did the same thing. And look at the hundreds. I'm going to take some of these and work them around, probably over there by the tea plants. You can see I have them over here also. Just, I mean, I could feed the neighborhood in spinach. Oh, and then here's the other mango. Sweet little thing, huh? And here was what the neighbor was throwing away, and I stuck in the ground. They certainly didn't look this good when he threw them away, but they've had a year, and they've done very well. By the way, I took you guys on a tour last month, and I showed you this plant over here, and I couldn't remember the name of it. And of course, it's a Staghorn Fern. And we have a friend who fixes cars on the side. He's an older gentleman. I'm 71, so when I say older, I mean he's mid to late 70s. But he still does it as a kind of a little side money. And so a few years back, he gave me this Staghorn Fern. And he said, oh, all you have to do is keep it in the shade and give it a banana now and then. I felt like I was taking care of an anorexic monkey or something, just give it a banana now and then. I said, oh, okay. So what you actually do, let me see if I can get in here and not step on anything, is you actually, I mean, you can see that this thing has so overgrown that it's actually growing some coleus in there. But these are all separate, like this little bit. Let me back off here. Oops. Let me see if I can do that. There we go. This little 2-leaf and then this leaf here, that's one plant that could come apart. And it has completely, there's probably at least 24, there's probably at least 24 plants in there. Let me see if I can back myself off a bit. There I am. Okay. But I could take that all apart, but it is so heavy, it probably, I've had to lift it, I would say it's probably 35 to 40 pounds now of just massive plants. And it's a cool thing though, isn't it? I mean, just so, it looks so prehistoric. I kind of feel like Tyrannosaurus Rex should be walking along and sniffing at me. I like to have a yard that's unusual. I don't want to have a yard that's just looks the same as everybody else's yard. and yet I do like my grass in the center. I've thought of turning the whole thing over into a garden, an edible garden, but I don't think that would really please me. So anyway, that's really the finale of this tour. And there's my fountain. And I think it's time for me to say goodbye. And I hope you guys will watch this the whole way through. And subscribe and give me a thumbs up, ring the bell, all that sort of stuff. And come back and see me again real soon. So garden what you've got. And have a great day. Bye-bye.